Hey guys, today I have a special treat for you. I'm interviewing Adam T. Glass. Adam is a strength athlete who's really a throwback to the old physical culture era when you didn't have athletes who specialized in any one thing, but who chose to become strong in every single way possible. Adam trains in jiu-jitsu, hand balancing, and even dabbles in arm wrestling, all while remaining near the top of the leaderboards of grip competition. Adam has competed in the highest level grip competitions around the world, and he's got a lot of tips for you on how training your grip will improve you as an athlete in the sport of your choice, his specific recommendation for grip training for jiu-jitsu, and yes, he even gives us a tip for improving your grip for deadlifting. It's Adam T. Glass, right now.
Hey Adam, it is a pleasure to talk to you again. I feel very fortunate because I actually wanted to talk to you from when I first heard you on the Superhuman Strength Show or something, or the Super Strength Show podcast, and then that was like a few years ago, and I've gotten to talk to you twice in less than a month. So I feel very fortunate that you are carving some time out for me. Thank you.
Oh man, not a problem. It's always a pleasure to jump on and talk a little bit of training, especially is being home all by yourself all day. Whenever you call someone to talk training right now, they want to talk about everything but that. So
oh God, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I mean, it seems like it dominates every conversation except this one, because we're going to talk about, first of all, you. So tell our viewers who may not be familiar with you, tell them a little bit about your history, some of the competitions you've been in.
So I compete in a couple different leagues. In the last 2 years, I've done a lot of lifting in USA. Arm lifting it's somewhat of a divergent from what has been the normal standard for grip sport for like the last 20 years, in that it's becoming more standardized. So for many years, people would be rolling out the world. You would never know exactly what the events would be until they would announce it. The events would change from competition to competition. So, for those of you that are into Olympic lifting or powerlifting, imagine a scenario where in any given season, you don't actually know what lift you're going to contest.
Wow.
And you can imagine the kind of problems that comes into.
Yeah.
Arm lifting is a league across the world. They grabbed onto a couple different events and they said, these are going to be the events we're going to roll with. They might change a little bit season to season, but there's a couple things that'll be consistent. One of them, for example, is a double overhand deadlift on a 2-inch diameter bar, which in my opinion is one of the best tests for grip strength, because the strongest guy on the axle typically wins the meet no matter what the other goofy events are. They went with Rolling Thunder, which different people have different opinions on the Rolling Thunder, but to me, at least I know what the stupid handle is that I'm doing for the one-hand lift. That has really been productive training, because across the year, I know exactly what lifts to keep coming back to, along with everything else that I like to do. Besides that, I've wrestled Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and very, very small amount of arm wrestling, just enough to hurt my arm every couple of months, I guess.
You got to stay away from the Eric Rusin guy. He's dangerous.
Came to Minneapolis in 2012. We did a 10-event grip contest. A whole bunch of guys were there. And afterwards, they had a table set up that Matt Brous, who lived in St. Paul, brought out. And it was pretty amazing to see, because he's very, very, very strong as an arm lifting competitor. I mean, the guy is incredibly strong. So it's one of those like, wow, this guy's so strong. But there are guys that they just pull him over in a second. It's crazy.
I guess like any other combat sport, there's so much technique in it. Like, as you mentioned, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I remember getting scolded every time I would use strength in a move in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because like I would always hear our master would say, too much strength, because I mean, it's going to wear you out. So I guess arm wrestling is kind of like that, where they emphasize a lot of leverage over just, using pure strength. Not that it's bad to have strength.
If two guys' strength is equal, the higher technical skilled man wins the meet.
Yeah.
If two guys' technique is relatively the same, the stronger man wins.
Right. Yeah.
It's always one of my favorite things is guys get that in their head right away, especially if you're an under 200-pound guy, someone school that you're going to be able to beat people in for remarkably stronger than you. No, you won't. That I can go jump in the car with the guy that trains me. We can roll into any DFW. And for those of you that are in DFW and you hear my voice, invite us out. Dude, you might find that your technique won't matter when I crimp this hand around you. I promise, because that's been the experience. I wouldn't want somebody to think that strength doesn't matter. And then particularly grip strength, if you want to talk about all your grappling sports, it's the most unfair advantage you can get this year over the guys that you play with, especially this motion right here. If we get this strong enough, you will find that you break people down out of positions that a year ago you were trying all kinds of crazy lever pulls on. It is such a substantial advantage. I would hope that everyone who even gets a glimpse of it, they run with it.
Well, I want to circle back around to that. But before we talk about that, you mentioned, all the different things that you train for, because you do a lot of different things. Your training is a mix of feats that look like they're just cool to do. And then, you did the red nail where you're bending it. So it's a mix of feats that are just cool to do. And then I would say training for specific things. So how do you balance out, especially considering, your job, how do you balance those things out?
First balance is do you have something, right, that you actually care enough about that you'll put aside something else in your life to go do this thing for whatever amount of time? That's the very first commitment, and that's where 99% of the people that I've ever even spoken to about training they totally want to have a better body on the beach, or they totally would like to be, stronger to where their back doesn't hurt, but they have not been able to overcome themselves in order to get off their ass and go do the work. And the crazy thing is, you as a coach, you could tell them this all day, but they don't listen. The amount of work it takes per day is so tiny, but the cost is you have to do it day after day after day.
Man,
so saying,
yes.
I'm prepared to do 3 hours today. 3 hours doesn't help. I need you to do maybe 10 minutes, but I need you to do it 130 days consecutively with no excuses and just get it done. And I think that's the difference. If somebody's a musician, but they can't figure out weightlifting, they're not understanding that it's the same thing. Yeah. Or if you like to paint, but you can't get yourself in the fitness program, you're not understanding it's the same thing. So when I'm looking at my training program, the first thing that I'm going to be looking at will be, do I have a competition that's set? So, for example, I had the Arnold Classic coming up. For that event, I knew that my best event would be my axle. That's where I have the most potential to gain and PR that's going to score, because it's a lot easier to put a lot of weight on a two-hand lift than, say, your silver bullet hold. The next thing I'm going to do is everything I need to do in order to do that part well. Okay. So, if you're doing a lot of deadlifting, you have to include some motions bringing the arms overhead. Right. You have to include some motions bringing the arms out to the side. It can't just all be picking up weight off the floor. Right. And then on top of that, any other little side things that I like to work on. So for me, John, really like to work on things for my wrist strength overall. Plate curls, always in my program. Some kind of lift that has this shape of the hand, always in my program. And some kind of hand balancing thing. And that's just because I like doing it. It's probably my favorite thing in fitness that I like to do. You're balancing and can I move a finger? Can I move my leg this way? It's a bunch of little bitty PRs you can pick up. You can do it a little bit better every time you try it, if you understand that there's all these ways you can do it better, as opposed to just, can I hold it 30 seconds to 31 seconds? Right. Or can I do 4 push-ups, 5? Great. But those represent only one shade of all the different ways you can get better at something.
You were prepping for the Arnold, and obviously that got canceled, which was a bummer. But Armlifting USA then experienced a surge in regional competition, which you mentioned on Instagram. Tell me about the one that you and then your training partner, who's Tanner Merkel, who himself just got a nice PR with those the York plate pinch. I actually have it up here on screen now just to give Tanner a shout out. He's what was he, like only the second or third guy in the world to ever plate pinch 200-pound plates, York 100 deep dish 100 pounds.
So these particular plates are extremely tall. They're very tall. When you put them on a barbell, it would lift it maybe 3 or 4 inches. So they're kind of like having a set of wheels. So when we talk about plate pinching, the taller the plate, the harder the lift, because it takes away your ability to tilt going this way, and it requires more pressure down the seam to get a lift. So the only person who had ever lifted those plates was Chad Woodall. He is a man, like 6'6", 315-pound strongman competitor out of Georgia. In the early 2000s, Chad was unquestionably the strongest grip guy in North America, maybe the world. I mean, truly incredible. He's actually kind of come back out this year doing some things, and I mean, blow your mind strong. So I got those plates from a guy named Chris Rice, who lives in
another
Ohio.
well-rounded guy. Chris Rice does everything: Highland Games, grip, powerlifting. Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Also, our audio quality and video just jumped up a whole level on my end.
Yeah,
so
I'm not the blur. Yeah, I'm still here.
And you sound better. I like that. So Chris gets me these plates, and he tells me right away, he said, the number one thing I want to see is if you can get to where you can two-hand pinch lift them, which I still have not done. And the craziest thing is, so I've lifted over 300 on a 2-inch diameter Saxon, 290 on a 2.5, and 265 on a 3, not even close to pulling these 200s yet. It is so unbelievably hard. So a couple weeks ago, we were talking, and Tanner said he was feeling really good that day. I said, you want to try the plates? Probably a minute to chalk them up, get a warm-up, pull on them, lift some right up. And the thing about it is those plates have not been sitting in Nowheresville that no one got to touch them. Those plates were contested a number of times from like 2006 to 2000, what would have been 13 maybe when I got them. Yeah. So every guy in the American League has put their hands on those and failed. They just might not remember it because, that's convenient when you don't remember not being able to do it. But I'm telling you, the only people that ever did it was Chad and then Tanner. Incredible feat of strength.
We segued off of that when I was asking you about the competition you guys did. So tell me about the competition you guys did in Dallas.
We were planning on driving up. We were going to leave DFW Friday morning around 3 a.m. We would have been getting into Ohio at probably, 9 or 10 at night. And then we would have been present all day Saturday to watch the midweights and then lift Sunday. We got notice from Ricardo Magni on Wednesday at probably, it was literally as quick as Ricardo got the message. He immediately got it.
Yeah, because he told me early, he and I were talking about whether, because, we were going to live stream it. And he talked to me about it. Yes, I got the message around the time you did, because he's like, I'm just trying to get this out to all the competitors that we're canceled.
Ricardo handled it as best, in my opinion, as somebody could have handled it. Yeah, There was some other promoters that they waited, and the consequence of that for other sports is there were athletes that flew over from Europe to land and be told you ain't lifting.
Yeah.
In a variety of sports. So I'm glad that he made that decision so quickly. So we knew right away, like, man, I'm not driving up to the Arnold to lift with no crowd, no other competitors, possibly in a situation where they might even let us lift Friday, but shut us down Saturday. Right. There's too many what ifs.
Right.
So we said we were out. And then that next day is when it became the silly of, is it on? Is it off? Is it on? Is it off?
Yeah.
And Ricardo said, I think we can still get some things going if you guys want. Just go ahead and run your contest. We'll give you guys a sanction for everybody who is going to lift at the Arnold. So that was around 30-something people.
Okay.
And the amazing thing is this decision was made independently in every group. For example, I didn't call anybody and ask them, are you going to do a meet? I said right away, well, cool, I'm lifting because we're both in shape to lift this Sunday. And we got some local guys that come out, a group between 6 to 10 on any given day. And then there's a group of guys at the gym that I lift at, which is right down the road here, where a couple of them said they wanted to come to a meet. So I told them, hey, we're going to do something this Sunday. Do you want to come out? And we had a number of people come out. We had some climbers come out that Tanner used to roll with from us. We had a couple lifters in Fort Worth come out. A couple strongman competitors came out. And the great news for that was we went from, having a bracket of like 8 or 9 guys that we were going to lift with in Columbus to having 10 guys here and then 7 contests all across the country.
Nice.
So, the lemonade from Lemons is that you are going to have about 30 people lift, and they are all very high performers. It would have been a cool meet. But by shutting that down, you had meets all over the place with many high performers, but also a lot more new people coming in.
So you grew the sport.
New people coming in is better than people who are already in doing well.
Right.
Like if you hear that there's a meet where 10 new guys came out, and then you hear that, me and Tanner over here both lifted 5 more pounds on something, that's old news. Let's talk about the new guys coming in, because that's what really makes it exciting over time.
The average person watching this is going to be interested in improving grip for deadlifting, probably. Possibly they might do like Savage Race or like Tough Mudder or any of those obstacle course races. And so possibly they might be interested in it for that. But the average person is interested in improving their deadlift grip. So give me one quick tip for improving your deadlift. And then we'll talk about getting involved in grip competition if you've been doing grip for a little while and you want to try arm lifting.
All right. In the garage gym community, do not buy into this idea that you need to buy 20 new pieces of equipment to do this. The grip community is currently overly flooded with low quality implements and challenges, and they're trying to get you to spend $50 to grab some little piece of metal where you're going to be able to pick up 10 pounds. That is nonsense. Okay. So the first thing I want people to understand is that you probably have what you need right now for your next 3 years of training. Specific to improving all of your pulls, your deadlifts, your snatch, your rows, your high pulls, all of these things. A pair of fat grips, essential. It's the cheapest. It's the cheapest way to get into making great progress. And John, I don't know if you've seen it before, but they now have a black fat grip called a Fat Grip 1. It's a 1 3/4. Okay. So first of all, it's perfect for ladies as an actual fat bar implement that's not so huge that they can't even grab it. Okay. And for most people, like I love the Fat Grip 1 because this grip on a dumbbell feels great. I don't really like the thinness of a dumbbell in my hand anymore. I lift thick implements so much that they just feel too thin. Right. So I like the black fat grip because it's about that much right there. I think a pair of blue grips for most people is perfect. Okay. And I would have them use those. All of your lifts, overhand, mixed grip, thumbless, pull-ups. They're fun to have if you put it in your hand like this and then you do push-ups. Yeah. You get a lot more tricep extension that way. I like that. Okay. And what I would have most of you do is we don't even need to really change your programming up here. This would be the deal. Start your lifts with the fat grips on the bar overhand. Do all of your warm-ups and lifts until you get to your real serious work. And it's going to depend on how you like to program. For those of you that train maybe more the way that I do, a lot more heavy singles, I would have you do fat grips up until the point that you're starting to miss lifts because you can't hold it this way. I would have you do 1 or 2 more lifts with some mixed grip and then take the fat grips off and hit your normal work set. And if you feel like you need some more grip from there, throw the fat grips back on for some barbell rows, throw it on for some pull-ups. If you like to drag sleds, they're really good. Wow. Then it's fantastic. Take 2 kettlebells, put a strap or a chain through them, pull it back, put any kind of handle, put the fat grips on, and now just go drag it down the street. Nice. It'll be a fantastic hand workout for you.
Nice. Well, my man, I really appreciate your time. Please, before we go, number one, let people know how they can get involved with with grip competition, especially right now there, because there's so many, everything's kind of shut down temporarily. But if there are any online competitions you know about, or even just where people can go to just connect with other grip competitors so that they can start learning more about the sport, where would you suggest a beginner or someone who's been just gripping on the side, where would you suggest they go next?
Oh, so the first thing I would have you do is I'd have you go to armliftingusa.com. Armlifting USA is going to have all of your contest formats. So if you're curious, like, hey, how do I even run this thing? It'll have contest formats. It'll have upcoming events, scheduled events, the big events for the year. You'll see different promoters there, people that you can contact. The league director, Ricardo Magni, will do anything you ask him to do if you ask him. If you go onto that website and then send a message to Ricardo and say, hey, I live in the middle of Dakota and I don't even know anybody. What do I need to do? Meet. He's going to tell you what to do.
Right.
Instagram seems to be where most people are doing a lot of the virtual stuff. On Armlifting USA, we're actually running a 7-week contest right now for the Ironmind Blockbuster Pinch, which it's like a 3-inch rectangular block shaped thing. And they're giving out gift cards and award packages for that. The last couple months they had events. They've given away gift cards for the hub. They've given away free fat grips. There's always guys that are running different online challenges that you can do. And the best part is you can be a brand new person hearing this right now, and you can go promote whatever event you want to do. The reality is if you give people a challenge and you kind of got a nice personality, somebody's going to want to play with you.
Yeah.
If you make it interesting, I'll play with you. I don't care. I'm always running online challenges myself. We don't do prizes or anything like that because I'm not into the 17th place prize thing. We could do places where we do one prize and that'll be going to Tanner every year, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you this, John, remember, the quickest way to get to be a number 1 is to be number 2.
Nice.
So for me, this whole year is just running and trying to catch him, and he's just taken off now.
Nice.
So it's been a huge improvement. And that's what I tell everyone to do is find somebody who's your weight class that you think you can catch up to and run. You know what I mean? It's a friendly thing.
Nice.
The reason it's a competition is because there's a winner and a loser, right? So that's a great part of it. The other place that I would tell a lot of people to go check out right now, Rogue Fitness is starting to do a lot more with grip side and money. So they've put up thousands of dollars for Thomas Inch Farmers Walk for a couple of years. They put up thousands of dollars for Denny Stone lifts. This year's the first year they rolled out their anvil horn lift. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that trend will continue.
Nice.
So I would not be surprised to see Rogue events featuring more and more grip challenges. And the great thing there is Rogue's got that money that they put up for people. So I would tell people to pay attention to what Rogue is doing.
How can people follow you if they want to reach out to you? You mentioned Instagram. So if they want to reach out to you, how can they follow you?
Yes, I turned my Instagram account back on so people can reach out to me because I was having the same question. So I am on Instagram, Adam T. Glass. You'll find me. I'm the one Adam Glass who picks up all the heavy shit, not the one who makes TV shows.
And
there's like an Adam Glass producer too. I am that guy.
I'm gonna link that, and I'm also gonna link your YouTube channel because you've got a YouTube channel that goes back many years, full of a lot of cool feats. So my YouTube gets like no traffic at all, John. I'm trying to fix that for you. I'm doing the best I can.
I've had that channel recording videos since 2006.
Okay.
So if you're curious what I looked like 13 years ago lifting weights.
The beardless Adam Glass, yeah.
Every year of it. And I will tell you right now, the amount of times that I said I want to do something and I couldn't do it, and you can see that I couldn't do it, going to the point that I could do it well, going to the point that people are like, oh, you're a freak. I can't even believe it. It's like, dude, you don't understand. I couldn't do blob lifting. The first time I ever put my hand on a block weight, John, I said, that shit's impossible. There's no way I'm lifting that. Yeah. And, a couple of years later, I could pretty much lift any blob you put in front of me. The only reason I tell someone to really peel through that channel is it's the proof that if you'll keep showing up, you'll be able to do it. Because when I first started looking at, grip board and message boards and trying to figure this out too. When I didn't know anything, I really figured out quick that instead of asking people what to do, I was going to look at what they're doing and I was going to go try it myself, and back and forth. And I never had like a coach in grip in that way, because to me, it became clear that everything everybody was doing is mostly a time investment thing. And that's my advice for everyone here. You probably don't need a lot of technical fine points on how to put your fingers on something and squeeze. You probably just need to keep yourself dedicated to picking it up over and over.
Nice.
And you'll do it. You really will.
Well, my man, I appreciate your time. I'm not going to hold you up any longer, but everybody, all the information that Adam just gave is going to be in the description for this video. So just check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like it, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Adam's channel, and share them both with your friends. You guys have an awesome day.